Imagine this for a second. It's thousands of years ago. The sun just dipped behind the mountains. And, well, the last light of day is totally gone. You're lying on the freezing ground, just wrapped in a rough animal hide. No streetlights outside, no central heating, definitely no locked doors. And the temperature? It's dropping fast. Then, out of nowhere, you hear a sound. Crack. A branch just snaps somewhere out there. You open your eyes, but you literally can't see a thing. The darkness is absolute. You sit up slowly. Your heart is pounding. And then you hear it again. Rustle. Something is out there moving. You freeze up. You don't have any modern weapons, no way to even see what's lurking. But then you look over. Right beside you, there's a small, flickering fire. Those flames are pushing back the pitch black, and suddenly, the night just doesn't feel quite as terrifying.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are going to explore what is arguably the most fundamental relationship in all of human history, our relationship with fire. We completely take it for granted today, but harnessing this wild, incredible tool is literally what built humanity. So this brings up a really fascinating question. Why exactly did ancient humans sleep so close to a fire? Was it just because they were shivering? Did they sleep by the flames because they thought it would scare off predators? Or was fire doing something much, much bigger? To really get this, we kind of have to mentally strip away all of our modern comforts and step back into a world where night meant absolute, total darkness.
The contrast between their reality and ours is just staggering. Today, we completely control darkness. Sun goes down, we just flip a switch. If it gets chilly, we bump up the thermostat. Feel a bit unsafe? We lock a heavy, solid door. Ancient humans had absolutely zero of these luxuries. Their environment completely controlled them. The weather, the changing seasons, finding food, that dictated if they lived or died. And that total darkness, it created a genuinely terrifying set of problems. Without being able to see, every snapped twig or rustling leaf was a potential death sentence. So let's move into our first major section. Section 1, more than just warmth, the survival system.
Now, keeping warm is the obvious benefit, right? But physically, we are just not built for extreme cold. We don't have thick fur. We don't have natural blubber like a walrus. When those temperatures plummeted, we needed serious, serious help. And fire wasn't just some magic bullet. Ancient humans actually had to build a compounded survival system. They needed shelter to block out that biting wind. They needed animal hide clothing to trap body heat, bedding to get their fragile bodies off the freezing dirt, and of course fire to blast direct heat onto their hands and backs. We didn't just cross our fingers and rely on biology. We engineered this whole combination of solutions to actually survive.
But honestly, warmth was just the tip of the iceberg. Fire completely rewrote our diet. Just imagine trying to chew through tough raw meat or super fibrous roots every single day. Cooking changed all of that. The heat made food so much softer, way easier to digest, and, this is a big one, safe to eat because it killed off dangerous bacteria. So a successful hunt wasn't just a raw, messy necessity anymore. It transformed into a hot, communal meal where the whole group could actually relax and digest safely after a really grueling day.
Which actually brings us perfectly into Section 2, the birth of culture, social evolution.
Because while fire definitely kept our ancestors physically breathing, it also kicked off this massive psychological and social evolution. Think about it. During the day, early humans were all scattered. Some are hunting, some are foraging, maybe making tools or looking for water. But the second the sun vanished, that fire became a glowing magnet. It pulled everyone back together. They sat shoulder to shoulder, they ate together, watched the kids together, and, most importantly, they communicated. Fire literally created social life. I mean, think about how vital information was back then. No books, no internet, no YouTube tutorials. Survival knowledge had to be passed down person to person. Picture this, an adult sitting by those flickering flames with a kid. The adult grabs a stick, draws an animal track in the dirt, right there in the firelight, and points out into the dark forest. Using just gestures and demonstration, one generation is teaching the next. The campfire basically became the world's very first classroom. But sitting in that cozy circle of light, we really have to ask, what about all the stuff lurking just beyond it? Did fire actually protect them from dangerous animals? We always picture fire as this magical, impenetrable force field against wild beasts, right? Well, the reality is a bit more complicated. Sure, some animals are naturally skittish around flames, but others, they might actually get curious about the light. And a truly hungry, motivated predator, yeah, it's still gonna approach. This brings us right to Section 3, protection and vulnerability. We kind of have to face facts here.
Compared to the massive predators roaming around back then, human beings were just incredibly weak. I mean, look at the stats. We didn't have razor-sharp claws like big cats. We definitely lacked the crushing muscle of a bear. We couldn't even outrun the things hunting us. So, we had to develop a totally different kind of advantage. Our ultimate weapon wasn't really the spear or even the flame itself. It was cooperation. One human alone, easy snack. But a group of humans armed with tools and a roaring central fire, that's a united front that can watch every direction at once.
And keeping that fire burning, that absolutely depended on teamwork. Imagine just one person trying to do it all night long, collecting heavy firewood, constantly stoking the flames, cooking, staring into the pitch-black tree line for glowing eyes, all while trying to calm down terrified kids. It's literally impossible. But you share that survival load across 10 people, suddenly everything works. The group becomes this incredibly coordinated team with the fire sitting right at the center of their shared effort. And that realization leads us to our final major section, Section 4, the power of control, mastering nature. Mastering fire didn't just keep us safe for the night. It totally rewired our relationship with nature and with time itself. Before artificial light, complete darkness was a hard stop on human activity. Game over, go to sleep. But fire practically extended the day. After sundown, instead of just huddling in the dark, terrified and silent, humans unlocked this whole productive evening phase. They could cook, they could sit by the firelight and repair their stone tools. And as it got later, it became prime time for teaching and storytelling. They essentially conquered the night. And the wild part? They did this not just once or twice, but thousands upon thousands of times. Survival wasn't usually some big cinematic battle with a saber-toothed cat. It was actually thousands of tiny, exhausting, repetitive decisions made over these brutal, endless winters. Waking up, freezing in the dark, dragging yourself outside to find dry wood, carefully breathing life back into glowing embers. It was about doing the simple, boring things right, day after day, just so you could live to see tomorrow. And honestly, this highlights what makes our species so incredibly bizarre and amazing. When we got cold, we didn't just sit around shivering for millions of years waiting to evolve thick fur. When it got dark, we didn't wait around to evolve night vision. No, we created light. We created clothing. We actively changed our environment to fit us, which is exactly how we managed to migrate out of our original habitats and survive in literally some of the most hostile, freezing climates on Earth. There's a quote from the source material that just hits the nail on the head. Perhaps the greatest gift of fire was not warmth, it was control. For literally the first time in history, a species was able to take something wild and dangerous from nature and use it to intentionally change their surroundings. We took terrifying darkness and turned it into a glowing circle of safety. We turned freezing cold into comfort, and we turned a bunch of scattered individuals into a tight-knit, bonded community. So the really crucial takeaway here is this. Thousands of years have passed, and sure, our world looks completely unrecognizable today. We've got LED lights, smart thermostats, 24/7 supermarkets, smartphones. But you know what? Our core human needs haven't changed one bit. We still crave warmth, we still naturally gather around light, we still bond over sharing a good meal, we tell stories, we try to teach our kids, and we desperately seek out a community we can trust. That ancient campfire? It's still burning inside all of us. Which leaves us with one final thought to wrap up this explainer. The next time you find yourself staring at a campfire on a chilly night, really take a long look at it. Are you just going to see a convenient way to roast some marshmallows? Or will you recognize the absolute primal survival tool that pushed back the darkness, sparked the birth of human culture, and quite literally kept our ancestors alive long enough for us to even be here today?